The tassel brushed my cheek as I shifted the cap nervously. My heart thumped when I scanned the rows of seats again. Empty. The 2 chairs I begged my parents to reserve sat bare as if mocking me. "Stop looking," Lily whispered from beside me in line. "They're not here," they promised, I muttered, forcing a smile that cracked halfway. "They swore this time would be different." Lily shook her head, eyes soft. "You know how they are." I clenched my diploma so hard the corners bent. The dean's voice blurred in the background. Cheers filled the stadium as families screamed their kids' names. My name was called. The applause felt hollow when it wasn't theirs. Afterward, outside the building, I kept dialing, pacing in my gown. "Pick up, just once." "Pick up," Lily tugged my sleeve. "Don't ruin today for them." She nodded at a group of parents hugging their children, tears in their eyes. I shoved my phone into my bag. Why do I always get leftovers? Why am I never worth showing up for? "You are worth it," she said firmly. "They just don't see it." The vibration of my phone cut her words. A notification flashed across the screen. My stomach flipped. It was a picture. My parents grinning in front of a giant TV, Super Bowl banners everywhere. Plates of nachos and beer bottles lined the table. My father's caption read, "Best night of the year." I froze. The world tilted. Lily peeked over my shoulder. "You've got to be kidding me." "They skipped." "For a party," I whispered. The words sliced as they left my mouth. "Who does that?" she spat. "What kind of parents?" "Don't," I cut her off, voice breaking. "Don't make excuses." "Not tonight." She wrapped her arms around me, and I felt the strength I didn't have on my own. But even her embrace couldn't soften the image burned into my mind. Later, at the diner across the street, I picked at fries without tasting them. Lily sipped her milkshake, watching me closely. "You want to scream?" she asked. "Yes," I said, voice small. "Then do it." "In here?" I glanced around at the families still in gowns, still laughing with their loved ones. I'd look crazy. "You wouldn't look crazier than parents who think football is more important than their daughter." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "They'll probably tell me they forgot the date." "No," Lily snapped. "They knew. You reminded them every week." "This isn't forgetting. It's choosing." Her words landed like stones. "Why can't I ever be the choice?" She reached across the booth, squeezing my hand. "You chose yourself today. You finished school. You walked that stage. That's what matters." I blinked back tears. "Then why do I feel like nothing?" "Because they've made you believe you are," she said softly. "But you're not." The silence stretched until my phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from my mother. "Sweetie, hope graduation went well." We couldn't make it. "Traffic was awful. Love you." I shoved the phone toward Lily. "Traffic?" I hissed. "Look at the picture. Does that look like traffic?" Lily's jaw tightened. "They lied." "Straight to your face," I typed furiously. "I saw the photos." "Don't bother lying. Enjoy your party." Then I deleted it, fingers trembling. "You're not sending it?" Lily asked. "What's the point?" "They won't care." "Make them care," she urged. My chest rose and fell with anger. All my life I've begged for scraps. For them to clap, to notice, to say they're proud. And today was supposed to be mine. "Just once. It is yours," she said firmly. "You just don't need their approval anymore." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to feel free. But the ache sat heavy in my chest, a wound that refused to close. When we left the diner, the night air stung against my damp cheeks. I clutched the diploma case, whispering to myself, "This is proof." "I did it without them." Lily looped her arm through mine. "You're not alone. Not while I'm here." I managed a small smile. "Thank you." We walked in silence until she asked, "So what now?" "Now?" I laughed hollowly. "Now I go home, hang this diploma on the wall, and pretend I don't care." "You don't have to pretend with me," she said. I nodded, but inside, I was already building walls. If even tonight couldn't matter to them, nothing ever would. At my apartment, Lily hugged me goodbye. "Promise me you won't cry yourself to sleep." "I promise," I lied. As soon as the door shut, I collapsed onto my bed, clutching the diploma like a lifeline. The party photos replayed in my mind, louder than the applause I'd earned. I whispered into the darkness, "Why wasn't I enough?" No answer came. Only silence. I sat on my bed, diploma propped against the wall. My phone glared with silence, Lily's words echoed, but so did the memory of a dozen moments when I had been left waiting. I whispered to myself, "It's not the first time. Why should I be surprised?" The past clawed forward. I remembered my 7th birthday, standing by the window as the sun went down. Balloons drooped in the corner. My father's voice on the phone. "We're stuck at a dinner, Princess. We'll celebrate later." Later never came. Another memory pressed in. 9th grade choir recital. I scanned the crowd, just like graduation. Aunt Claire waved from the back. She was the only one. Her voice after the show still rang clear. "You can't keep waiting on them, honey. Some people never change." I had shrugged. "They'll come next time." She had shaken her head. Don't build your life around next time. The sting returned now as I replayed those words. I called her that evening. "Aunt Claire?" Her warm tone filled the line. "Sweetheart, I was hoping you'd call. How was graduation?" They didn't come. My throat tightened. She was quiet for a long moment. "I'm sorry. Truly sorry." They went to a Super Bowl party. They smiled in pictures while I stood alone. I heard her sigh. I wish I could say I'm shocked. But I'm not. "Why do they do it?" I asked. "Why do they keep choosing everyone else over me?" "They don't see beyond themselves," she said gently. "It's always been that way." I bit my lip. But I kept hoping. I thought maybe this time. "Hope is heavy when it keeps breaking," she interrupted softly. "And you've carried that weight too long." Tears burned my eyes. I feel like I was invisible my whole life. Birthdays, recitals, awards, they weren't there. "I was there," she reminded me. "Not enough, I know. But I tried. I know you did. You're the only one who made me feel noticed." Her voice thickened. "You deserve better, and I hate that they can't give it to you." For a moment, I couldn't speak. The ache in my chest spread like fire. Finally, I whispered, "I think graduation broke something in me. I don't want to beg anymore." "Then don't," she said firmly. "You don't owe them your pain. You owe yourself peace." Her words struck deep. I let silence fill the space before asking, "Is it wrong if I stop trying? If I stop calling? Stop hoping?" "No," she said. "It's survival. Protect your heart." I laughed bitterly. "Feels more like surrender." "It's not surrender," she countered. "It's taking your life back." I pressed the phone tighter. "Then maybe I'll start tonight." "Good," she replied. "And remember, you're not alone. You've got me. You've got Lily. You have people who love you the right way." Her faith wrapped around me like a blanket. After we hung up, I whispered into the empty room, "I won't let them belittle me again." The vow tasted like steel on my tongue. The weeks slipped by, but the silence from my parents never cracked into apology. Not once. Instead, the phone rang with cheerful voices. "Sweetheart, we went to the new steakhouse," my father bragged one evening. "Best prime rib I've ever had." My grip tightened on the receiver. "Glad you enjoyed it. We should take you there sometime," my mother chimed in. "When things calm down?" I laughed bitterly. "Calm down from what? You didn't even call after graduation." They brushed past it like I hadn't spoken. "Anyway, the Johnsons invited us to their lake house this weekend," my father continued. "We'll send you pictures." "Of course," I muttered. "Pictures." That's all I get. Click. They hung up, satisfied with their own stories. At work, I forced myself into rhythm. Stacks of reports, endless emails, smiling at people who didn't know the storm inside me. That's where I met David. "You always look like you're about to run out the door," he teased one afternoon, leaning against my desk. "Maybe I am." I shoved a paperclip across the desk. "Bills don't pay themselves." "Neither do smiles," he replied. I raised a brow. "Are you trying to sound wise?" He grinned. "Maybe, but it worked." You smiled. Barely. Still, the corner of my lips lifted. Over lunch, he asked, "So, big family cheering you on after graduation?" The question stabbed, and I swallowed hard. "Not exactly." "What happened?" "They didn't come," I said flatly. He blinked. "Why not?" "They had better things." I pushed my fries around. "That's insane," he said. "You deserved better." Apparently not. He studied me for a long moment. "You don't believe that." "You just think you do." The honesty in his voice unsettled me. "You talk too much for someone I barely know." "And you don't talk enough," he countered. His bluntness made me laugh for the first time in days. That night, Lily called. "You sound tired," she said. "I'm fine. You're lying." Did they call again? Yeah, to brag. They didn't even mention graduation. Her anger crackled through the phone. "They're unbelievable. How can you keep letting them treat you like this?" "What choice do I have?" I whispered. "You have plenty of choices. You don't have to answer their calls. You don't have to sit there bleeding every time they open their mouths." Her words struck deep, but I shook my head. "If I cut them off, what do I have left? You have me. You have David now. And you have yourself." The room grew quiet. My chest ached. "Sometimes it feels like that's not enough." "It is," she insisted. "You're just too used to scraps to believe it." Tears pricked my eyes. I pressed the phone closer. "Why can't they just love me?" "I don't know," she whispered. "But you can't keep waiting for them to change." After we hung up, I sat in the dark apartment, clutching my knees. The shadows pressed closer, and the silence screamed louder than any words my parents had spoken. I whispered into the emptiness. I've always been the backup option. The words cut, but for the first time, I admitted them aloud. The call came on a Tuesday night, just as I was reheating leftover noodles. "Sweetheart." My mother's voice gushed through the speaker. "We're so proud of you." I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. "Proud?" "Yes," she continued quickly. "Graduating, starting a job, living on your own. Your father and I were just talking about how amazing you are." I let out a sharp laugh. "Amazing enough to skip, right?" Silence. Then my father's voice joined in, overly cheerful. "We're sorry about that. But listen, we know you're doing well. That's what matters." "Doing well enough for what?" I asked flatly. There was a pause, and then the mask slipped. "We could use a little help," he said. I set my fork down. "Help!" "Our business took some hits," my mother said quickly. "Investments didn't pan out, and the bills are piling up. Just until we get back on our feet." "So now you remember I exist," I muttered. "Don't be like that," my father snapped. "Family supports family." I laughed bitterly. Did family support me when I stood alone at graduation? "Stop dragging that up," he said sharply. "We need you now." "That's what matters." The words twisted in my chest. "You need me, but never cared when I needed you." Before they could respond, another voice cut in. "Uncle Rick! Kiddo!" he boomed. "I told them you'd help. You're smart, you've got steady work. It's your turn to give back." I blinked. "My turn?" "Exactly," he said smoothly. "Your parents carried you all these years. Now you can carry them a little." My laugh came out broken. "Carried me? You mean the forgotten birthdays, the missed recitals, the silence when I begged for attention? That was carrying me?" "Ungrateful," he shot back. "That's what you sound like. We're giving you a chance to step up." I gripped the phone tighter. "You don't get to rewrite history, Uncle Rick. You weren't the one waiting at windows that never opened." "Stop being dramatic," he said. "Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is helping now." My mother's voice softened again. "Please, honey, we just need a few thousand. Think of it as a loan." "A loan?" I asked coldly. "Will you pay it back before or after the next Super Bowl party?" Her breath hitched. My father growled, "Enough. We're not here to argue. We're asking for help." "And I'm asking why I should," I snapped. Uncle Rick chuckled darkly. "Because if you don't, everyone in the family will know who turned their back." The threat hit like ice water. "So now it's blackmail?" "No," he said smoothly. "It's the truth. You help, people will see you as responsible. You refuse, they'll see you as selfish." I swallowed hard, the bitter taste rising. "Funny. That's exactly how I've always seen them." Silence stretched on the line. Finally, I whispered, "You want money? Then pay the debt you owe me. Every year of neglect, every empty chair, every broken promise, add that up before you ask me for a dime." "Don't talk to us like that," my father barked. "Then don't treat me like an ATM." The weight of my own words startled me, but a fierce satisfaction bloomed inside. For once, they were the ones begging. "I'll think about it," I said coldly. "But don't hold your breath." Before they could argue, I ended the call. The noodles on the counter had gone cold, but the heat inside me burned hotter than any meal. I sat at my kitchen table with a stack of printer paper and a pen, feeling ridiculous and electric. "You're really doing invoices?" Lily asked, leaning in the doorway. "It sounds stupid," I said. but I want them to feel the weight of what they did. She stepped closer. You charging for the birthday cake they forgot? Yes, I smiled hard. And for every recital, every time they left me waiting. Emotional injury, I said when she raised an eyebrow. She laughed, then asked, Is this revenge or closure? Both, I shrugged. I'm done pretending the past didn't hurt. Show me one, she said. I slid the first sheet. At the top, invoice for emotional neglect. Below, missed 7th birthday, $200. Recital absence, $150. Forgotten graduation, $1,000. Numbers matter, I said. They always think in numbers. You really put 1,000 on graduation. I put 1,000 because it's the price of dignity they stole. Lily's eyes softened. It's bold, my phone buzzed. Need to talk? From David. I typed back, come by. Don't tell anyone. He unfolded the papers like a detective. What's this? An invoice, I said. For what? For being invisible? David ran a hand over his jaw. You can't bill them for feelings. No, I agreed. But I can force them to face the ledger, he sighed. Revenge eats the person who plants it. Don't do that, David, Lily said quickly. This is different. How? He asked. Because she's making them confront their choices, Lily said. And if confronting them feeds your anger? He asked me. I swallowed. Then I'll take the risk. David's voice softened. I care about you. I just don't want to see you get burned. You think I don't know that? I snapped, then softer. I'm tired. Okay, he said. Plan carefully. Tone matters. Tone? If it reads like a joke, they'll laugh. If it reads like accusation, they'll snap back. If it's a well-documented account, it will sting. Professional tone, I said, smiling. Cold and clinical, Lily added. We worked into the night. I listed birthdays, recitals, rides missed, empty chairs. I wrote notes like tiny witnesses. Child waited outside ballroom. Parents returned at midnight. Promised cake next week. Never delivered. I dated each line. Do you really remember these dates? Lily asked. They're scar tissue, I said. David paused. You put Aunt Claire's visits as mitigation. She was there sometimes, I said. I wanted context. Smart, he said. At the bottom of each invoice, I added a polite line. Payment may be made via check or electronic transfer. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Lily read it aloud and laughed. A polite threat. It's a mirror, I said. I want them to look and see everything they ignored. David folded his arms. What if they ignore it? Then I make the ledger public, I said. You can't blackmail, he warned. This isn't blackmail, I said. It's accounting, he studied me. I'll help make them professional. Promise me one thing. What? Don't let this be your only answer. If it consumes you, I'll pull you out, I exhaled. Promise. We made 10 invoices, 1 per year of slights. The ink felt like small stones in my hands. So what's the plan? Lily asked. I'll mail them, I said. No calls. Let them open the envelope and choose. Are you sure? David asked. No, I admitted. But I know why. For every empty chair, someone waited. For every party, I learned to quiet my applause. I want them to know the cost. Lily squeezed my hand. Then do it. David cleared his throat. Have you considered posting something online instead? Public pressure might force them to answer. No, I said quickly. I'm not out to shame them publicly. I want them to see themselves without an audience to hide behind. That seems noble. He hesitated. But also risky. I'd rather risk honesty than spectacle, I replied. We paused and David asked, Have you thought about what you'll say if they come begging? I looked at him. I'll tell the truth. No apologies, no explanations. I want them to feel what I felt. He blinked. That could break you. It could heal me, I countered. There's a difference. Lily smiled with that fierce pride she always had. This is the first time you're doing something for you. I read one invoice aloud just to hear it. Missed 9th grade concert, $150. Note, child searched crowd for parents. Found only aunt at back row. My voice trembled, then steadied. David's face changed. Hearing it that way, it hits differently. Good, I whispered. It should, Lily said. Do you want revenge or acknowledgement? I want them to know the cost, I answered. Not ruin, just truth. You could also ask for a conversation, David suggested. I already had conversations, I said. They chose a party over me. This is a language they get, Lily nodded. Then let them listen. I sealed the envelopes and wrote their names in my crooked script. My hands trembled, but not from fear. From a brittle kind of resolve. As I walked to the mailbox, I whispered, "This is not hate. This is reckoning." I posted them one by one, each a deliberate act. The last envelope slipped from my fingers like a promise. Back home, I sat on the couch and breathed. "I hope it hurts," I said to the empty room. Lily put an arm around me. "Let it. But don't let it hollow you." "I won't," I said, though the truth felt uncertain and electric. Lily asked, "Are you sleeping after this?" "Probably not tonight," I admitted. "I'm restless." David stood and offered a tired smile. "You can crash on my couch if you need to get away from memories." I shook my head, then surprised myself by saying, "I'll be okay, but thank you very much." They left soon, and the apartment felt both empty and strangely lighter. I walked into the restaurant and felt the air change. My parents were at a corner table, plates untouched, smiles practiced. Uncle Rick waved like he was hosting a show. "Over here!" my mother called, the cheer too bright. I slid into the seat opposite them and set my bag down. "You picked a nice place," I said. "We wanted somewhere comfortable," my father replied. "So how are you settling into the new job?" "I'm fine." I kept my voice steady. "Thanks for asking." My mother tilted her head. "You sound distant." "I was at graduation," I said. "You were at a party." A shadow crossed my father's face. Then he shrugged. "There were a lot of people. It was hard to get out of the house on time." "Hard?" I echoed. "You made time for the game." Uncle Rick barked a laugh. "She's provocative. Don't let her ruffle you." "Don't patronize me," I said. "I didn't come here to argue about excuses." My mother straightened. "What did you come for then?" I slid the thick envelope across the table. "For this," she frowned. "What is invoices?" I said. "Bills for things you missed." My father's mouth hung open. "Is this a joke?" "You think I'd joke?" I asked. "Open it." He pulled out the first page. He read, stunned. "Missed 7th birthday, $200, he read. "Forgotten recital, 150, missed graduation, $1,000, my mother gasped. "This is absurd." "Absurd?" I snapped. "You laughed at my diploma day. You chose nachos over me. And now you want my help with money?" Uncle Rick glared. "You can't make demands like this." "I'm not demanding money," I said. "I'm asking you to account for the cost of what you never gave me." My father slammed his palm on the table. "How dare you shame us? We're family," Uncle Rick said. "You don't embarrass them." "I will if it means they see themselves," I said. "You call this embarrassment." "I call it honesty," my father's voice dropped. "So what do you want? Money? An apology?" "Both," I said. "Acknowledge the pain and make restitution." "Even if it's symbolic," my mother whispered. "How much are we talking?" "Add them up. Pay what you can, or refuse. But don't pretend this never happened." There was a long pause. My father rubbed his forehead. "We can't just—" "You can," I said. "You chose to be absent. Now choose to be present in a way that cost you something." Uncle Rick huffed. "This is manipulative." "Call it what you like," I said. "I smoothed over your choices so I could survive." "This is me smoothing the ledger." My mother's voice broke. "Please." "We never meant—" "Intent doesn't erase impact," I said. "I need you to see that." My father stood abruptly. "We're leaving." "Leave," I said. "But take the envelope." He grabbed it and shoved it back. "You can't hold us hostage like this." "I'm not holding you," I said. "I'm holding you accountable." He stormed out, Uncle Rick trailing. My mother sat with her hands folded, trembling. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "That doesn't undo years," I said. "But it's a start." She reached across and touched my hand. Her skin was warm and shaking. "We'll talk about this." "Talk is what I always got," I said. "This time I want action," she nodded. "Okay." Outside, the noise of the dining room felt far away. I breathed the night air, chest hollow and oddly full at once. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily. How did it go? I stared at the screen and my fingers hovered. I typed, "They saw the invoice." They left. Mom stayed. Maybe it's something. My thumb hovered over send, then I hit it. The message felt like a small flint strike. Back at the table, my mother's hands were folded as if in prayer. "You don't understand what it's like," she said. We tried. We worked. We did a lot for you. You did things, I said. You provided material things. You provided appearances. You didn't provide me. We provided stability, she insisted. Stability doesn't replace presence, I said. I sat through recitals, practiced lines, waited on porches. Stability doesn't clap at 3 p.m. when someone steps off a stage. My mother looked away. We thought you were fine. You never complained, I complained, I said. I called. I cried. I waited. You were busy choosing parties, choosing to keep your image tidy. Uncle Rick reappeared at the entrance and watched us. He didn't come back to the table. He stood like a judge in the doorway. You think this will shame us? He called from a distance. You think you'll gain something by airing this? I'm not airing for the crowd, I replied. I'm showing you a ledger because you never saw the totals. You're cruel, Uncle Rick shouted. I'm truthful, I said. My mother closed her eyes and exhaled a shuddering breath. If we paid, would you forgive us? Forgiveness isn't a purchase, I said. Actions are the language I understand now. Money is a start, but change is everything. She blinked, wet eyes bright. If you tried, I'd notice the trying, I said. Not the promises. Her hand squeezed mine. I don't want to lose you. You lost me before, I said. But I stayed. This is me deciding if I keep staying. She sobbed softly, small and raw. Please, just let us make it right. I don't know what right means to you, I said. But I'll listen. We sat in silence after that, the kind that sounds like a held breath. The evening had become a small reckoning table where my childhood unpaid invoices had finally sat face to face with the people who wrote them. I walked home with something heavy and new inside. Aunt Claire called the next morning. I heard what you did, she said, her voice calm but alive. Finally, someone exposed them. You think I went too far? I asked. No, she said. You showed them a mirror. They've avoided it for decades. Her words steadied me, but guilt still gnawed. They say I betrayed them. They'll say anything to keep from admitting the truth, she said. But people are already whispering. Their perfect mask is cracking. Later that week, my cousin messaged me. Your parents are telling everyone you attacked them at dinner. What happened? I typed back, I gave them receipts for all the years they left me behind. She responded with a stunned emoji. Honestly, good for you. At work, David noticed the exhaustion in my eyes. What's wrong? Family fallout, I muttered. Talk. They're telling everyone I'm ungrateful. That I humiliated them. Do you feel ungrateful? I looked down. No, I feel alive, but also cruel. You're not cruel, he said. You're demanding truth. That's different. Then why do I feel guilty at night? Because you were trained to feel guilty for existing, he said softly. The words pierced me. A few days later, Uncle Rick called. You're ruining them, he barked. Friends are pulling away. People don't want to deal with their drama anymore. Maybe people are tired of lies, I said. They're embarrassed. That should be punishment enough. Embarrassment isn't punishment, I replied. It's consequence. You think you've won something? He snapped. I didn't win, I said. I just stopped losing. He cursed and hung up. The next call came from my mother. Our credit cards are frozen, she whispered. The bank's pressing us. We can't breathe. You want me to fix it? I said. You're our daughter. I was your daughter when you left me waiting at the window, I snapped. Why is daughterhood only real when you're desperate? She cried softly and I almost broke. But the image of their party smiles hardened me again. That night I told Lily everything. Do you think I'm cruel? I asked. No, she said firmly. I think you finally stopped pretending. But I feel like I've kicked them while they're down. You didn't push them down, she said. They walked there themselves. You just refused to follow. I pressed my palms together. What if this ruins me too? It won't, she said. You're building something on your own now. That's strength, not ruin. At work, David overheard me sighing over my bills. You okay? He asked. I'm surviving. Barely. But it feels better than drowning for them. He nodded. Independence is painful. But it's real. One evening, Aunt Claire visited my apartment with groceries. You don't need to do this, I told her. I want to, she said. You've carried enough alone, she studied me. Do you regret it? I don't know, I admitted. At night, I hear their voices. I wonder if I've turned into something ugly. You've turned into someone who won't be ignored, she said. That isn't ugly. It's survival, I whispered, but survival feels so lonely. Lonely is better than invisible, she replied. Her words stayed with me. Days later, I overheard coworkers talking. Her parents used to host those flashy parties, right? One asked. Yeah, another said. Heard they're broke now? Creditors after them. I sat frozen, the whispers confirming what I already knew. Their world was crumbling. That night, I stood by my window, city lights blinking below. My reflection stared back. Am I cruel? I whispered. Or did I finally take back what they stole? No answer came. Just silence, and in that silence, I began to feel a strange kind of freedom. The call came late on a Sunday night. Sweetheart, my mother's voice cracked, thin and trembling. They're taking the house. The bank foreclosed. We don't know where to go. I gripped the phone tighter. You're saying you lost everything? Yes, she whispered. Please, we need you. My father's voice cut in, hoarse. We don't have time to argue. Just help us. We'll figure out the rest later. I closed my eyes. You still think I'm a safety net? We're your parents, he snapped. Is this how you treat us? I almost laughed. Is this how you treated me at graduation? Silence bled through the line. My mother finally said, We're sorry. Please, we'll do better. You've said that before, I muttered. That week at work, David noticed my tired eyes. You didn't sleep again. They're losing the house, I said. He leaned against my desk. And they want you to save them. Yes? Will you? I don't know, I whispered. Part of me aches when I hear them beg. But another part feels relief. Like justice. David studied me. So what's stronger? The ache or the relief? They fight inside me, I admitted. All night. I see them begging, and I see me at the window, waiting for headlights that never came. He said quietly, You can't be both their victim and their savior. You have to choose. I bit my lip. If I let them fall, am I cruel? If you save them, do you break the cycle or repeat it? He asked. I had no answer. That evening, Lily showed up at my apartment with takeout. You look like death. What happened? They lost the house. Her eyes widened. Wow. They're begging me for help. And you're thinking about it? She asked sharply. I can't stop. They sound so broken. They sounded cheerful when they bragged about parties. They sounded cold when they skipped graduation. Why should their broken voices matter more than your broken heart? I stared at her. Because they're still my parents. And you're still their daughter, she said. But being their daughter shouldn't mean being their crutch. Her words sank heavy. The next night, my phone lit up again. My father this time, his voice raw. Please, I can't. Your mother's crying herself sick. We'll live anywhere, even a motel. Just help with the deposit. You always ask, I said softly. Never give. Stop punishing us, he barked. We raised you. You raised me? I whispered. No, you raised yourselves. I raised me. He cursed and hung up. Hours later, guilt clawed at me. I called Aunt Claire. They lost the house, I told her. I know, she said. Word spreads. They want me to save them, she sighed. And you're torn. Yes, she paused. Listen. You can love them and still refuse to rescue them. Love doesn't mean erasing the truth. But what if they end up on the street? Then they'll finally face consequences. You've carried theirs long enough. Her voice steadied me, but my heart still shook. Days passed with sleepless nights. I stared at the ceiling, whispering to myself, if I save them, I lose myself. If I let go, I live with guilt. At dawn, I finally sat up and said aloud, I can't be both. When my mother called again, sobbing, I took a deep breath. I'm sorry, I said, but I can't fix this for you. Her cries cut through me. You're abandoning us. No, I whispered. You abandoned me long ago. I'm just done pretending it didn't happen, she begged, pleaded, but I stayed firm. My voice shook, but my words stood. When the call ended, I sat in silence, trembling. David texted later, Did you choose? I replied, Yes, I chose me. For the first time, I felt the weight shift. Sorrow and justice braided together, heavy but freeing. We met in a quiet park, far from restaurants, far from noise. My mother's eyes were swollen, her face pale. My father looked smaller, shoulders slumped. She spoke first. Thank you for coming, I nodded. This will be the last time. Her lips trembled. We've made mistakes. Mistakes? I interrupted. You abandoned me? Over and over. My father shifted uneasily. We can't change the past. No, I said. You can't, but you can listen now. He glanced at the ground. Say what you need to. I took a breath. I forgive you. My mother's eyes widened. You do? Yes, I said quietly. But forgiveness isn't forgetting. I'll never forget the empty chairs, the silence, the nights I cried alone. Tears spilled down her cheeks. We didn't know it cut that deep. You knew, I said. You just didn't want to see. My father's voice cracked. And now? What happens now? Now nothing, I answered. I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to carry you. I'm here to let go. My mother reached for my hand. Please don't walk away from us. I pulled back gently. I already walked away years ago. This is just me admitting it out loud. Silence spread between us, heavy and raw. My father finally muttered, We've lost you. You lost me long before tonight, I said. But I've found myself. They both looked broken, but I felt steady. I stood. This is my closure. Not revenge, not cruelty, just peace, my mother whispered. We'll regret this forever. You should, I said softly. Because I won't. I turned toward the path. The sun broke through clouds, warm on my face. Behind me, I heard my father call. Wait, but I didn't. I walked forward. Each step lighter. The scars were still there, etched deep, but they no longer burned. They no longer owned me. For the first time, I belonged to myself.